Okay, I'm going to make a ragdoll. And I'm going to apply it to this character here. So in this Unity tutorial, this is what we're going to have in the end. We're going to learn how to make a character like I made this one here. And then we can move around running, turning, jumping, and then, whoa, falling off a cliff here. And then wake back up and run some more. So this is what we're going to learn how to do. Oh, he tripped. This is what we're going to learn how to do in this video. Also, we're going to learn how to use Pro Builder to make a level like this where we could run around and jump on. Okay, let's do it. First things first, we're going to start a brand new project so we together can do this from scratch. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have a model that I would have made. I'm not going to go through making the model with you, but I'm going to show you the program I used to make it, Magic of Voxel. And Magic of Voxel is a voxel modeling program, or I can model in 3 voxel shapes by, adding and removing kind of like 3-dimensional pixels to make something. So that's the remove method. Otherwise, I could start with an empty thing, and I could just add in stuff to make something in 3D. So what I did was I worked on something. Let me turn my edge and grid and frame. I worked on something already, and I called it Just a Guy. So where are you, Just a Guy? Please tell me I saved you in here. Oh, here he is, Just a Guy. And this is the guy that we're going to use in the tutorial. So I make him in a T-pose, as you can see here. And then there's joints that I want to make sure are going to be able to bend for the animation. So I kind of etch out a little bit of him, some pixels here in spots like this. See, so that that joint could bend, and also on the legs so they could bend, and on the knees so they could bend. So I'm moving around here by pressing in my mouse wheel, and I could just pan. And then if I want to scroll and zoom out, I scroll the mouse wheel, and if I want to look around, I hold down the right mouse button and turn. So anyway, after the model's made, I would do export as an OBJ, like so, and I would put it into a folder like so. Okay, I'm going to call it like so, and then I would save it. And there's actually going to be 3 files in there. So if I look in this folder, it makes 3 files. The object file is the mesh. This has the colors for the material, and this is something about the material. All right. So now I'm going to have those 3 files. I have my model. Next step is to actually get some animations for him. So I could close Magic of Voxel now. And this thing, the like so guy here, I have a folder that I already made before. So the first thing I'll do here is I'll take those 3 files that we exported and I'll zip them. I have 7-zip, it's a free zipping program, and I would zip it to the Just a Guy. And I'd have this file right here. So now I have to go to Mixamo, and I have to import the model into Mixamo. So let's go to Mixamo, and I'm signed in. If you don't have an account, you just make one. You just need an email address. And here I have the characters uploaded already. But if I didn't have them uploaded, I would just use this button, upload character, and it takes these 3 things. I'm going to import the zip file that I made from the material, the OBJ, and the PNG. I'm going to drag and drop that over here. It takes a moment for Mixamo to process it, but it will. Okay, then when it processes it, it comes in and it should come in with the colors. And I'll press next. And then I just got to tell Mixamo where all the different parts of the body are, like the chin, the wrists, the elbows, the knees, and here, the groin or the pelvis. Just follow the picture. Now, one thing here, my character has a thumb and then all his fingers are together. So for the level of detail of the skeleton, I probably don't need to have the standard skeleton with all the fingers. I just need this one, the 2 chain fingers, where it has a thumb and all the fingers like this. Then I'll say next. And what happens is Unity is going to automatically rig this model with bones inside of it. Bones are the thing that makes us able to animate the model. So now I have a model rigged, and Mixamo is showing you that it's rigged by actually playing an animation on the model. I could press the skeleton view and see the bones, or see the model. Now I'm going to press next, and the character will show up here, and I could pick animations for this model. So I will go to the Find Animations if I'm not there already, and then I will see animations on the side here. And I could type in here animations that I want to find, like running, probably with an ing, and it has a bunch of different running animations. If I click on one of them, then it actually plays the animation in the preview window. This animation actually translates the character, so I could click on the in place and see what it looks like if it doesn't translate them. And if I like the animation and I want to use it, I could just say download. And there's the formats to download in. I want to make sure that I pick FBX for Unity, and then I say download, and it'll give me a chance to say where to download it. So I could download it to my desktop, and then I have the folder here for my Just a Guy stuff, and I would download the running animation, and it would come here in the folder. And as you can see, I already kind of found the idle, a jump, and running animation. So that's what I do with the Mixamo. I download the animations and my models. So I'm done with the Mixamo part. Okay, so now we're going to go into Unity, and we're going to actually start using this model and the animations in a project. So I'm going to say new project, a 3D project, and I'll call it Just a Guy. And I'll say create. All right, so here we got it. Unity opened up, ready to go. To make a level for me to run around on, I'm going to use Pro Builder. So I'm going to go to the package manager to import the Pro Builder package. And here it is, package manager window, package manager. And in here, let's wait for it to load up. It's loading all packages, and I can see what packages I currently have in the project. These are the current packages in the project. I want to make sure that I have Pro Builder. So this is alphabetical, and here's Pro Builder, and I'll say install. Now it's going to import that package. And with time, the package is installed, and now I could go back to look at all my in-project packages, and I'll see Pro Builder right there. If I want to, I can get rid of some packages I don't need, but I'm not going to mess around with that right now. I want to get on with the video. So you could also see if the package is installed by looking over here in the packages, and there's Pro Builder. So now Pro Builder is installed. Now let's add a Pro Builder object. So here it is, a Pro Builder cube. I add it, and it looks like a cube. How cute. The only thing, this guy has more powers than you think. If I click here in the inspector window on the Open Pro Builder, boom, I get this panel of activities here. So I could pick a side. So let's change it from object mode to vertex mode to face selection. I could pick one of these sides, and then I could say extrude a face, and you see it just gave me some more vertices there. And then I could pick another side here and say extrude, and I get some more there. So I could kind of make a complex shape, or I can make a more complex shape than I originally had as a cube, but I could work it. I could work this whole side, this one, and let me also select this, and I'm just going to extrude that and stretch this guy out. And then over here, I'm going to stretch this guy out just making a level of some kind. And here in the middle, let's not stretch out, but lift it up. Okay, see that? So we got a hill there. And what else can we do? Let's take this guy and do an extrude. So I'm just going to make a level here to some degree. Something to play on. Extrude. And take you and extrude. Just going to go up like that. Just remember that that is forward. Take you and extrude. And I just kind of make something for me to run around and jump on. So extrude this guy. And let's kind of get this guy to come out a little. You know, it's whistling while you work time. And if I want to, I could take a face. So I've been like playing around with faces, and that's fine. If I say subdivide faces, merge faces. So there's all these tools here. I could also play around with the colors. So I could select the face, and I could set the color to purple. Select another face and set it to yellow. Or I could pick now edge mode. So I can select this whole edge here and make that orange, and then I can select the edge on the other side and make it yellow. Oh, what? Oh, I picked the color. I can make it yellow. Here. So I could have some nice colors going on. Pick this edge and make it gray, and this edge and make it green, and this edge and make it black. Yeah, that way I just have some variety here in my level, and I could see the different floors and stuff. Apply. And I could also go by vertices. So with the select vertice mode, let's see, I have vertice here and here, and I could say that those are red. And I could just pick this vertice here, which I think was blue, and I could turn it to darker blue. Anyway, so that's Pro Builder. It's a way to make something kind of quick. All right, so I made something for my player to run around on. And we'll call this my level. We'll call it my polycube, I guess. Multiple polygon cube. And then I'll just save that. Now we're ready to get the model in. So let me just shrink this down here and find my folder that I had my Just a Guy data in. And where'd it go? There it is, Just a Guy. And I got all the stuff in here. So I'm not actually going to use all of it. I just need some of it. So which ones am I going to use? Let's see. Let me make a folder. Create folder. Just a Guy. And let me take the models that I need. Here we go. Let's take the FBX, put it in there. Let's see what we got in there. FBX. And let's take the 3 animations, idle, jump, run. Put them in there. And if you look, all these guys are white. That's because I need the actual material that had the color on it, which is this, the PNG. Let's put that in there. And I think this. Oh, no, this is the OBJ. I don't need that. Delete. So let me try this again. And try it again. So I deleted what I had here in the folder in Unity, and let me grab them all together at the same time. FBX, material for the colors, and the three animations, I'll drag them in together so Unity can process them together, and now I have the colors. So I'm done. I got my model in Unity, and I can start to use it in Unity. So first, let's just take the T-pose model, and let's put him up here. So here he is up here, and Z's facing forward, and let's get closer to him. See, so that's his front, looking from the back. Z is going forward, and we're going to press play to see what happens because, let's see if there's anything happening like an animation or anything. And no, it just presses play and nothing happens. Let me position the camera. Control Shift F when the camera is selected. So over here it says it wants an animator, and right now there's none. So let's add an animator object and animation controller, and just a guy is what we'll call it since it's his animator. And now I'm going to double click on this to open up the animation controller. All right, let's just take this window for a moment and put it over here. It's really skinny right now. Let's dock it. There we go. And what do we have here? Let's put some animations in it. This one is the idle animation. We'll put it in first. That's going to be the default animation. And now let's put this controller with one default animation on our just a guy. And let's press play to see what happens. Press play. And it is showing the animation, but I don't see anything happening. Let's put the other animations in the controller just for the heck of it right now. So here's the idle. It's orange. It's the default animation. And then we're going to put in the jump, and we're going to put in the run. All right, so this is a controller. This is the default animation, meaning from the entry point of our game, it will start playing this animation. So let's click on the idle animation and see what kind of information we have here. For one, we could see right here that the looping is off. I'm going to make the animation loop. It's going to play over and over. So I'll press apply. All right, and then another animation that I want to loop is the running animation. So I'm going to pick the animation, and then here in the inspector window for that animation, I'll pick loop and apply. And the jump animation, I don't want it to loop. I would just want it to do one jump. So I'm going to leave that one the way it is. Okay, now in the controller window, I'm going to add some transitions. These lines are called transitions. So one transition I'll add is from idle to running, and then from running back to idle. So I could switch from the idle animation to the running animation and then back again. And on this transition, I'm going to put a condition. So first I'm going to have to make a parameter, an animation parameter. So I'm going to add a boolean, and the bool is going to be called running. All right. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that boolean right here by clicking on this transition and using it as a condition. So I'm going to pick the running condition is true, then the idle animation will switch to running. Now running is going to switch back to idle when the running parameter is false. Okay, so we should have a little loop here. So let's just try that out. Let's go back to our guy. Let's put this thing and let's dock it down here now that we have all the things in it. And let me just make it so we could see all the stuff in here at the bottom. And we can see our player. And I'm going to select the player, which has the animation controller there. I'm going to press play. So it should play the idle animation. And you can see here there's a little scroll bar in the idle animation showing him doing his idle animation. And then when I switch the running property to true by clicking here, it should switch to the running animation, and it should stay there until I uncheck it. And when I uncheck it, it goes back to idle. Now there was one thing, when I checked it, it didn't immediately switch over. That's because we have to tell the transition that we don't care if the animation actually finishes playing. Right when the property, the parameter becomes true, we want it to play the running animation. So click on the transition and say that it does not have an exit time. And then when it transfers back to idle, we're going to click on that transition and we're going to take off the idle time there too. That way, as soon as the parameter changes from true to false, the animation changes as well. So here I'm going to press play again and we're going to see that work. See, this is playing idle, but bam, right when I check it, he goes into running, and right when I uncheck it, bam, he goes into idle. Check, running right away, idle right away. Good, so that transition is good in the controller. Now we want to have a transition from idle to jump. And this is going to be something like we press a button and it just happens one time. So also on this transition, when we press jump, we want it to jump right away. So we'll turn off the exit time. And we're going to make a new parameter for the jump. We'll make it a trigger jump. And we'll apply the trigger right here to this transition. So select the transition and add the jump trigger to it. So as soon as the jump trigger is activated, boom, it should press and do the jump animation. Let's see that. Let's press play. We still have our running, right? Now if I do the jump trigger, it should do the jump animation as it just did. And then after that, it's staying in jump. All right, so after that jump transition plays one time, it should go back to idle. So let's see that. Press play and jump and then back to idle. All right. Now probably if we're running, we want to also be able to press the jump button. So I'm going to make a transition here to jump, and that will have the trigger for jump, and it won't have exit time. And then when that one's finished, oh, let's just go back to idle. Okay, so let's press play, and let's say we're running, and then we press the jump. Press the jump, and it went back to running. Okay, I thought it was going to go back to idle. But let's see if I'm idle. Oh, I guess because running was true. So it just went zoom zoom and went right back here. All right, so here's idle, and I say jump, and it goes back to idle. All right, good. So the controller's set up, but we can't have this animator controller open when we're playing our game. We have to do it from a script or something to control these motions and everything. So let's go back to our project window, and we're going to have to add a script to our guy to move him around. So here in the project window, assets, I'm going to create a script in C#, and I'll just call it player because it's going to be the player script. And let me just open it up. Bam, Visual Studio startup. So Visual Studio opens up. We have the default script. So first thing I want to do is have some public variables to control how fast I can move speed, and I'll set that to 2.0. And I want to have a variable to say how fast I could turn speed, and I'll set that equal to 120 degrees. And then I'm going to have a variable for jumping, float jump force, and I'll just set that to 4. Okay. So in the scene we have an animator. I'm going to need a reference to that, private animator, so I could control the animations. So I'll make one there. I got a reference to it. Good. So now let's do a start function, and let's get some pointers to things that we need, like the anim is going to have to equal the get component animator. Let's spell that right. And okay, now that we have the animator, then in the update function, we'll listen for key presses. So update. So what we'll do first is we'll Well, we want to be able to move the character. So let's say if input.get key, if I'm holding the key code dot up arrow equals true, then I'll move my character forward. This dot translate, transform dot translate vector 3 dot forward times move speed times time dot delta time. Okay, so that should move him forward. Let's just check that out. Let's save, go back here, pick our guy, and let's add the script to him. Bam. And let's just press play with that script. And all I want to do is see if, yep, when I press forward, he goes forward. Good. So that'll work. The only thing now too is we want him to animate a running motion when he goes forward. So we'll use the anim dot set bool, because it was a Boolean parameter we had running, and we'll set it to true. Okay. So now let's see if he runs as well. Press play and idle and then running. Okay, good. Oh, but then he keeps on running. So we're going to have him stop running when I stop pressing the up arrow. So else if I don't have the up arrow pressed, anim.set bool running comma false. Okay, now press play and he's running and then he stops. Good. So now let's have him that he could turn around. If input dot get key code dot I'm going to turn left and right. So left arrow equals true. I will turn to the left. So this dot transform dot rotate. I'm going to rotate through the y-axis, like top of his head. And the direction I'm going to rotate is to the left. So that's negative turn speed times time dot delta time. I add these delta times in here so that the speed is the same on whatever computer I have. If it's a fast computer or a slow computer, the turning speed will be the same. Delta time keeps that constant. So I could either be pressing the left arrow and turning left, else I'll check to see if you're pressing the key code dot right arrow, man, that's what I'm saying, equals true. And then that one, I'll just turn the other way. Copy, paste. Except the other way is positive turn speed. All right, so that should turn me left and right. So this was move here, and this would be my player is turning. All right, let's see how that looks. Let's go here. Let's press play. And turn left, turn right. Go forward, turn left, or turn right. Okay, good. Let's zoom out the camera a little bit and see what happens when we kind of fall off this cliff that we have. So let me go back to the scene view. And let's get a bigger picture here, maybe from the side. All right, this looks like a view I could work with here. All right, and now let me set the camera to that. So I have the camera selected, Control Shift F, and you can see right here that the camera matches my scene again. Save my project. And let's see what happens when I run off this cliff. So I'm running, and then, well, look at that. He's not actually matching up with the ground. He's just moving forward, but he's not falling to the ground. So I'm going to have to add physics to my player. So here we have the player, again, just a guy, and I'm going to add a rigid body. so that we can have some gravity. And I'll just say he weighs 100 pounds, okay? And then I'm going to also add a collider. So I'm going to add a capsule-shaped collider around my guy. And the reason for that is so that the bottom is round. Let me just adjust this collider's positioning. See, I pick the capsule collider and click on the edit collider. And then I get these little buttons here that I could like play with to make everything fit. Ooh, I totally am on the wrong side. Let's go over here. Check from all angles here. Make sure, yeah, make sure that it's on his body. Because right now I just went off his body. All right, let's check from all around. So that's pretty good. Now I have a collider and the rigid body on my player. So he should stay on the ground. He should always fall to touch whatever ground he's near. And then if there is no ground near him, like when I go this way, wait a minute, I fell down. Oh, okay, that's easily solved. On the rigid body physics, I'll freeze the rotation on the x-axis so I don't fall on my face, and I'll freeze it on the z-axis so I don't fall to my side. Now let me press play again, and let's see what happens when I come to the cliff. First of all, I'm not falling down anymore, and here, good, just what I wanted. I fall down to the next level. Okay, let's add one more thing. Let's add jumping. So let's go over here. Now we're going to add some jump controls. If input.get key. Now this one is like, I just want it to be pressed once, get key down. So instead of get key, like the key's being held, I'll say get key down, dot space. Let's say the space bar is the jump control. If you press the space bar, then we're going to jump. So to do the jumping, what I'm going to use is the rigid body that we already have. So I'm going to add a reference to the rigid body in my script. RB equals null. Okay, and the rigid body I'm adding a reference to is this one right here that's controlling the gravity and stuff. So in my start function, I'll get the reference equals this dot get component animator. No, not animator, geez. Rigid body. All right. And then here I'll just say rb.add force. Vector 3, the force is in an up direction, times jump force, comma, and the force type will be a velocity change. So it doesn't matter what my weight is, it'll just be an instant velocity change. Boom. So now I could jump. Let's see what happens when I do that. So let's press play again. And there we are. I could still move. Let's see what happens when I press jump, the space bar. I go up and down. That's great. Now let's just apply the animation of jump. So anim dot, let's see, I think we made the thing a trigger. So set trigger, and the name of it was jump, right? I think so. Let's check real fast in our just a guy animator. And here is the jump. It's a trigger, yeah, jump. Okay. So that should work. Let's check the script, make sure we save it. And now let's press play. And I could jump, and he does the jump animation. And that's a pretty good height. All right, so I could run, I could jump, and I could fall off a cliff. Now what I want to do is when he falls off the cliff, I want him to actually have like a ragdoll effect. So part 3, we're going to add our ragdoll effect. So I'm going to pick my guy. Now I'm going to open up the guy to show you what's here. First thing here we have is the actual mesh of the guy. Then over here we have all the bones that Mixamo added. So they're called Mixamo rig, and then the different rig part like a hips. And you can see that it's highlighting the hips area, the left leg, the right leg, the spine, and you could go inside, and it's like the hip bone's connected to the knee bone, and you can get all the different bones. But if I look at any of these rig bones, all that exists now is a transform. That's it, just a transform. Now, when I go ahead and pick my character here, just a guy at the top level here, and I right click and I add a ragdoll, what's going to happen is Unity is going to want me to tell it which bone to use for each part of the body. Let me turn this around like this so I get left and right in the same feeling here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start assigning these different bone parts to the ragdoll. So hips, that's going to be my pelvis. And then I have my left leg, but what's in here in left leg? I got left leg up, then I got left leg down. So left leg up is going to be my left hip, and then left leg is going to be my left knee, and left foot is going to be my left foot. Okay, so we got a left leg. We probably could do the same thing with the right leg then. So we got right leg, hip, right leg, what this is? Oh no, stop. Let's see, I got the right leg up, and I'm gonna look for the knee. This is the knee, drag and drop. You gotta be careful here. And the foot, drag and drop. And that's the legs. So let's just keep things organized, shrink up the legs. Now on the spine is probably where I'm gonna have the arms and everything. So let's look, I got the spine, and that just opens up there. And then I got the spine 1 and spine 2. So the spine does have little pieces to itself. Let's say the spine, what am I looking for? The left arm. So let's look for the arms. Let's just expand this a little here so we can see the whole word. So the arms want to start from the shoulder. So I got left shoulder, then I got left arm, okay. And then I got forearm. All right, so this left arm is going to be for my left arm right here. And then the elbow right here. And then I expect the same thing on the right arm. Then I have the right arm right here and the right elbow right here. And now middle spine. Ooh, that's spine, spine, and spine. So spine 1 would be middle spine, if you ask me. Put that right there. And head. Maybe to the neck is a head. And there it is. I'll put that right there. All right, so I got all the bones assigned. Now I'm going to say create. And if we look at any of these bones now, like hips, you're going to see that it's going to have a collider, whatever the collider is. There's going to be a collider and there's going to be a rigid body on each of these bones now. They are not just a transform. There is something added, and that's how we could tell that a ragdoll was added. Okay, now if I press play with the ragdoll on it, let's see what happens. He is freaking out. That's probably because he has an animation controller trying to do an animation, and a ragdoll also trying to do ragdoll on him, like dropping with gravity, and they're both conflicting with each other. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to turn one off until we're ready. So let's turn off the ragdoll effect until we're ready for the ragdoll. So to turn off the ragdoll effect, I'm going to need to reference each and every one of those bones and turn is schematic to true for each of those bones in the ragdoll. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a private, I want to have an array, rigid body array for the bone rigid bodies. I'll just abbreviate. Okay, so that's going to equal null. And then here in the start, I want to get the bones themselves. So I'm going to use, this is going to be a collection here, the rigid body thing. This is an array, which is a collection. And what I want to do is I want to get all the rigid bodies that are part of these Mixamo rigs, and I don't want to get this rigid body over here that I added as a capsule collider. So I'm going to make like I want to like do a select statement on a collection. So to do a select statement on a collection, I'm going to include system.link. Okay, and that's going to allow me to do a query like a where clause on a collection. So I only pick the ones that are named Mixamo rig. All right, so to get that collection of bones that are Mixamo rig, I will say bone rig bod equals this dot game object dot get components and children. All right, and the kind of components I'm looking for are the rigid bodies. All right, so that gives me all the rigid bodies, even the capsule collider. Now I'm going to use link dot where x, so that x dot name, the name has to contain contains Mixamo rig. If it contains the word Mixamo rig in it, then it's not the capsule collider, it's one of the bones from Mixamo, and I put that back to an array. So this should give me all my why is this not looking right? Why is this not, oh, that's not a word. Bone rig rigid body. Okay, so this should give me all the rigid bodies in my game object where the name of the rigid body contains Mixamo org. So this one over here, this rigid body, the name is not going to contain Mixamo org. And these, their rigid bodies, their name, you see right here, Mixamo org hips. So this should work to give me 11 rigid bodies, but not the capsule collider. And when I have those, then I could turn off the ragdoll effect. So I'll make a function for that. I'll make one for turn off and turn on. Private void turn off ragdoll. And then I'll make another one that says private void turn on ragdoll. And there's not going to be much in these functions. It's just that there's a loop that I'll have to go through each of the bones. For each rigid body R in bones rig bod, I want the R dot is kinematic to equal true when I turn off the ragdoll, and then over here when I turn on the ragdoll, copy, paste, I want the is kinematic equal to false. Okay, so here the game will start. I'll get the anim, the rigid body pointer, and then I'll get all the rigid body bones that are with the name Mixamo org, and I'll turn off the ragdoll effect. So we should stop freaking him out. Let's press play, see if that worked to stop freaking him out. Oh, now he's spinning around in circles. That's because of another thing. There is the rigid bodies, and we handled that, but we didn't handle the colliders. So my player has the capsule collider on him, but each of these bones have started adding colliders. So the colliders on the bones are colliding with my capsule collider. So what I'm going to do, what I have to do is I have to make the capsule collider ignore collisions with my bones. So let's do that. We'll just think, Omar. All right. First, I want the pointer to the collider on my player. Okay. I'll say the capsule collider of my player. Capsule collider player. Ooh, that's a big long word, but it's okay. And we can understand what we're talking about. So that I just got to get the component, get the collider, blah, 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 and that's that. And then I want an array of colliders that are coming from the Mixamo bones. So I'll call this bone colliders. That's going to be an array. And that's going to equal this dot game object dot get components in children. And instead of rigid bodies, I want the colliders. And then I just want them where the x.name dot contains mixamo rig. Okay, and just give me an array of those. Convert that to an array for me. All right. Now I have all the bones, but not my capsule collider bone. So now I'm going to go through a loop for int I equals 0 to I less than bone colliders dot length, the length of that array, boom, plus plus. And I'm going to use physics, ignore collision between my capsule collider player and the current bone colliders at I. There, so my capsule collider will ignore collisions with all the bone colliders. Save. Whew. Let's see what happens now. Will we get rid of that spinning effect? Press play. Ah, good, we got rid of the spinning effect. We still have our animations and stuff like that, but the ragdoll doesn't take effect yet. Now we want to actually make the ragdoll take effect. And when we want it to take effect is kind of like when we fall off the edge. So when we fall off the edge, we're going to lose contact with a surface. We're going to stop colliding with a surface. So I'm going to use the event private void on collision exit. And then on collision exit, for the animations, I'll turn them off. Anim.enabled equals false. Bing, bing, bing equals false. And then the I'll turn on the ragdoll. All right. So when I lose touch with the floor, I'll turn on the ragdoll and turn off the animations. So here we go. Let's press play. And I'm running around. And yeah, great. Okay, cool. So that worked. Now let's do a thing that after he falls down, I have to get back up. So let's see, get up is going to be a keystroke. Input that get key down, and I don't know what will we make the get up key? U for get up. U equals true, and when we get up, we'll do the anim.enabled equals true, and that should, and we're gonna have to turn off the ragdoll. Turn off ragdoll again. Okay, so there we go. Let's see what that looks like after we fall. Can we get up and do the animations again? So here we press play. I'm going to run around a little and fall off the edge. Yikes! Ugh. And then I'll press U to get up, and he's up, and he can animate again. So, oh, wait a minute. Now I can't jump, because when I jump, I lose contact with the floor. All right, so when I jump, I don't want the ragdoll to turn on. So over here, when I jump, I'm going to have to say something that I lost contact because I'm jumping. So let me make a boolean, private bool. Well, I gotta spell properly. Private bool is jumping equals false. In the beginning, I won't be jumping. But then over here, when I do the jump, I will say is jumping equals true. And when will I stop jumping? I will stop jumping when I touch the floor. So private void on collision enter. Okay, now I landed on something. So is jumping will then equal false again. Okay, so now I can tell when I'm jumping and I stop jumping. So here with the on collision exit, I'll only turn on the ragdoll falling effect if is jumping equals false. Okay, like I forget to jump, I just drop like a rock. And I'll stick that right in there. And now we should have our tutorial almost done. Let's see. Press play. And I can move. And I could jump. But if I fall off the edge, oh, I land on my head. I can get up. And I can move some more. And jump, jump. Ugh. Okay, so it's working. And that's how we create an animated player character that we could use in a game and move around. There you go. Have fun, folks. I'm having fun.